Hello, my name's Janine Mohamed and I'm a proud Narungagana woman and the CEO of the Lowitja Institute. Thank you for taking the time to connect with me online on this Close the Gap Day 2020. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the many lands on which we all work and live, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and of course to future emerging generations. I also want to acknowledge the Close the Gap co-chairs and campaign steering committee, on whose behalf we have led the development of the 2020 Close the Gap report, titled "We Nurture Our Culture for Our Future and Our Culture Nurtures Us." The title of this report reflects the reciprocal and cyclical nature of culture, and it's important to the health and well-being of our future generations, something very close to my heart as a mother of 5 children. The report focuses on the protective factors of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures for health and well-being. It demonstrates that Aboriginal peoples have the solutions to ensure health and well-being for our future generations. The report takes a strengths-based approach. Through a strengths-based approach, I believe we not only reframe how we see the challenges we are facing, but importantly, we also reframe the solutions and how we develop and implement them. It also demonstrates that the cultural determinants of health are a critical factor that must always be considered in planning public health programs. We know that a cultural determinant approach requires that we understand systemic weakness and failures. We know that culturally centred approaches such as culturally safe and respectful healthcare can drive the systemic reform that is needed to create a better health system for all Australians. With the threat of the coronavirus hanging over us, it's easy to become complacent about the report's message of health and well-being through empowerment. However, more now than ever, it is important that we understand the role of culture as a protective factor. Past poor experiences in the health system have left many of our people feeling unheard and unwell, geographically isolated as well as place isolated from healthcare services. Unchecked biases can prevent care and treatment for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We want to thank frontline health service workers for their hard work and sacrifice during such a critical time. We also implore them to work with cultural safety at the forefront of their minds under this pressure, if we are to truly look after everyone. Also, we must be extra vigilant to ensure our public health messaging and communications is reaching communities and is culturally safe and relevant. Many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities struggle with inadequate housing and infrastructure, and with such bare essentials lacking, such as clean water. Therefore, we must understand one size does not fit all and will not work. Working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander experts and organisations will help ensure information, equipment and services are culturally, socially and geographically relevant to our mob. These organisations need to be adequately resourced to ensure important messages about the pandemic actually reaches our communities. It's not just the messages where communities want and need health professionals brought into these communities. We need to make this happen. Many of these organisations have already shown great leadership and acted immediately to implement measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, such as halting large public gatherings before any other organisations were thinking of doing this. We need now the federal government to show leadership. For example, urgently rethinking their requirements for our people with chronic diseases to participate in mandatory work for the dole activities. It is an unnecessary and risky approach. The 2020 Close the Gap reports shows that self-determination and leadership by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people at a national, regional and local level can achieve much. First Nations people around the world know only too well the real dangers that flu and cold pandemics pose to our health and our cultural continuity. Now is the time to learn from the survival and the resilience of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and Indigenous cultures around the globe, so that we can nurture each other in these tough times and ensure a safe and healthy future for everyone. Thank you.